Imagine waking up one day and no longer needing to check your blood sugar. No more pricking your fingers, no more counting carbs, no more carrying insulin pens or worrying about a sudden crash in the middle of the day. For hundreds of millions of people living with diabetes, this has always been a distant dream, something whispered about in doctors' offices or hoped for during late-night hospital visits. But now, that dream is suddenly much closer to reality. A breakthrough so powerful it could change medicine forever has just stepped out of the lab and into the light. At a major medical conference in Europe, scientists unveiled something extraordinary, not a new pill, not another app, but a tiny, man-made organ printed layer by layer like a sculpture built from life itself. This is not science fiction. It is real. And it works like a pancreas should, sensing sugar levels in the blood and releasing insulin exactly when needed, all on its own. The technology behind it is called 3D bioprinting, and it is doing what once seemed impossible. Instead of using plastic or metal, researchers are using living cells mixed with special gels that act like scaffolding. These materials are fed into a printer that lays them down in precise patterns, creating clusters of tissue that behave just like the insulin-producing factories inside a healthy human body. Once implanted under the skin, these tiny structures do not need wires, batteries, or external controls. They simply wake up when glucose rises and go back to rest when balance returns, just like nature intended. What makes this even more remarkable is how simple the procedure is. Unlike older transplant methods that required risky surgery and delivery into major organs, this new approach uses a small cut, local numbing, and places the implant right beneath the surface of the skin. It is quick, it is safe, and most patients are back to their daily routines in just a few days. There is no long recovery, no heavy medications, no fear of infection taking over. It is as close to painless as modern medicine can get. But here is the real game changer: the body does not attack it. One of the biggest problems with transplants has always been rejection. The immune system sees anything foreign as a threat and launches an all-out war. That is why organ recipients must take strong drugs for the rest of their lives, drugs that weaken the body's defenses and come with serious side effects. With this new implant, that problem may finally be solved. The printed tissue comes wrapped in a kind of invisible cloak, a protective barrier that hides it from the immune system's radar. It slips in unnoticed, does its job quietly, and keeps working month after month without drawing attention. Early tests show these implants remain active and healthy inside the body for more than half a year, with no signs of breakdown or failure. This is not just a better way to manage diabetes. This is a chance to live without it. Without daily injections, without constant calculations, without the fear of going too low at night or passing out during a meeting. People could eat meals without stress, travel without packing coolers full of medicine, exercise freely, and grow old knowing their body is finally regulating itself again. Children diagnosed at age 5 could grow up never knowing the burden their parents carried. Adults who have lived with needles for decades might finally feel normal again. And the implications go far beyond diabetes. If we can print a pancreas, why not a liver? Why not a kidney? What if damaged heart tissue could be replaced without open chest surgery? This moment is not just about one disease. It is about rewriting the rules of what medicine can do. For centuries, doctors treated symptoms. Then they started replacing parts, joints, valves, even hearts, but only when donors were available and luck was on their side. Now, for the first time, we are learning how to build those parts ourselves, cell by cell, tailored to each person, ready when needed. Think about what that means. Organ waiting lists stretch for years. Thousands die every year because a match never comes. But with bioprinting, there is no wait. There is no donor. The raw materials can come from the patient's own cells, grown in a lab, turned into living tissue, and put back where they are needed. No risk of mismatch. No lifelong drugs. Just healing, on demand. Scientists have already tested similar techniques in animals with impressive results. Diabetic mice received these printed implants and within days their blood sugar stabilized. Their bodies began responding to insulin again. Some lived for months with perfect control, eating freely, acting completely healthy. Now human trials are beginning, carefully, step by step, following strict safety protocols. The road ahead is still long. Regulators must approve, manufacturing must scale, costs must come down, but the foundation has been laid. The proof of concept is real. One of the most exciting parts of this advance is how it combines several cutting-edge fields. Stem cell research allows us to grow unlimited supplies of human tissue. Materials science gives us biocompatible gels that support cell growth without causing irritation. 3D printing brings precision, allowing complex networks of blood vessels and cell types to form in exact arrangements. And gene editing may soon let us fine-tune these cells to perform even better, resist stress, or last longer. Together, these tools are creating a new era, where the body can be repaired not just with drugs or surgery, but with living, breathing replacements made in the lab. It is easy to underestimate how big this shift really is. We have always thought of disease as something to fight, to suppress, to endure. But what if instead of fighting, we could rebuild? What if illness was not a life sentence but a temporary malfunction? One that could be fixed with a new part, like changing a tire on a car. That is the future being built right now, quietly, in labs around the world. Of course, challenges remain. Keeping these implants alive for years, not just months, is critical. Ensuring they integrate fully with the body's circulatory and nervous systems will take time. Making sure they can be produced affordably and delivered globally is another mountain to climb. But none of these obstacles seem insurmountable anymore. The hardest part, the creation of functional, responsive, immune-protected tissue, has already been achieved. And perhaps the most beautiful part is how this technology puts power back in the hands of patients. No longer dependent on machines, schedules, or emergency kits, people could regain spontaneity, freedom, peace of mind. Imagine a teenager going to prom without worrying about a hypo. A father playing soccer with his kids without stopping to test his levels. An elderly woman traveling to visit grandchildren without lugging a medical bag. These are not small things. These are the moments that make life worth living. This is not just progress. This is liberation. Liberation from a condition that has haunted humanity for generations. Liberation from fear, from limitation, from routine. And while it may still be a few years before this treatment becomes widely available, the signal is clear. The age of replacement medicine has begun. Today it is the pancreas. Tomorrow it could be any organ, any tissue, any part of the body that wears out or fails. Heart muscle after a heart attack. spinal cord connections in paralysis, dopamine-producing cells in Parkinson's. The same principles apply. Living tissue, custom-built, safely implanted, fully functional. Medicine is no longer just about surviving illness. It is about restoring wholeness. About giving people back what disease took away. And in that sense, this tiny printed pancreas is more than a medical device. It is a symbol. A sign that we are moving from managing disease to truly curing it. From coping to thriving. From hoping to healing. So yes, there is hope now. Real, tangible, scientific hope. Not based on miracles or myths, but on cells, code, and courage. For 500 million people worldwide who wake up every morning to the same routine, the same anxiety, the same endless cycle, the end may finally be in sight. The needle may soon become a relic of the past, stored in museums next to iron lungs and leached jars. A future where diabetes does not define a life is no longer a fantasy. It is a goal within reach. And when that day comes, when someone receives an implant and walks out of the clinic knowing they are free, no prescriptions, no refills, no alarms set for midnight checks, that moment will mark a turning point in human history. Because sometimes the most revolutionary thing is not a loud explosion or a flashy invention. Sometimes it is quiet. A small patch under the skin. A cluster of cells doing exactly what they were meant to do. Working in silence. Healing in secret. Changing everything. And if you made it this far, take a moment to really let it sink in. This isn't just another medical headline or a fleeting breakthrough lost in the noise. This is the beginning of something much bigger. A future where diseases we've lived with for generations no longer control our lives. Where a simple implant could give someone back their freedom, their time, their peace of mind. If you or someone you love has ever felt the weight of chronic illness, the daily grind of needles, monitors, restrictions, fear, then this moment matters. Because change is not coming someday. It's already here, one cell at a time. So hit that like button if you believe in this future. Subscribe if you want to see more stories of science turning miracles into medicine. And drop a comment below. What would it feel like to live without that constant worry? What part of your life would you get back? Because this isn't just about technology. It's about hope. And for millions around the world, that hope is now breathing.